Hello again and welcome to issue 34 of Two-Edged Sword. If you'd like to add or remove your name from the mailing list, email hrministries@hotmail.com, and if you'd like to check out the content on the website, visit www.faithlawliberty.com. I have in front of me a letter that I mailed to my parents on the 15th of May regarding a rhema, a personal word that God spoke to me on May the 12th. And it was the sort of thing that I didn't want to noise abroad until I had the manifestation. But God convicted me I was being a coward. And so I've actually now written an essay in Watch and Pray in this issue 34 because the prophets of the Bible didn't save faith. They just spoke forth faithfully. Whatever God spoke to them, they put it out there. And there are some things we need to be discreet about, but if it's just a personal word to us regarding our own life, we might need to be more discreet in some areas. But if it's a general thing where God is wanting our faith to be exercised in a matter, then we need to be diligent servants. So for me, my credibility really was being put on the line. I guess that was my little fear there. But as my seed, I've sown my seed now of trusting God that I will not be put to shame and that he has spoken to me and that he will bring it to pass, just like he's brought so many other things to pass that he has spoken to me. I've got a good track record with blabbing what God has spoken to me, and it surely comes to pass. So, I'm God's servant. I have no agenda of my own. I'm just going with the flow. But what God spoke to me on May the 12th, I was just watching a Christian video and it had nothing to do with anything. But God spoke to me only 6 months after moving me to Toowoomba. God spoke to me that he's going to house me in Brisbane. And I thought he meant that I'd have to uproot and move back to Brisbane. And, I honestly replied to God, I'm happy here in Toowoomba. I've only just got here. It's a beautiful place. I'm very content. And it would be a lot of hard work to move back to Brisbane. And, I couldn't understand why this would be. But then God spoke to me again and said, I will give you a house in Brisbane besides. So, I thought, well, that could work. I could spend weekdays in Toowoomba and weekends in Brisbane. And so I went back to watching the video. But then later that day I asked God, please confirm to me, did you speak this to me? Because it's going to require faith for me to be able to, I never would have thought to ask for this. But God spoke it to me, and now I require faith to be able to believe and press in. But as far as I'm concerned, it'll be a lot of extra work driving back and forth to between Brisbane and Toowoomba each week, and a lot of extra expense, a lot of extra petrol, a lot of extra wear and tear on the car, extra rates to pay. This, as far as I'm concerned, I've got everything I need here in Toowoomba. I'd be quite content just to plug along here. But God has a plan, and it's not for me to put God in a box. If he's wanting to stretch this ministry between east and west, then I've got to go with the flow and just be his servant and let him be the master. But I asked God, please confirm to me, just so that I can, exercise faith here. And God landed me on Zechariah chapter 14, verse 8 in the NASB Bible. And this is not a coincidence when God gives you such an explicit answer like this. Toowoomba is west of Brisbane and Brisbane is east of Toowoomba. So God landed me on Zechariah 14:8 in the NASB. And in that day, living waters will flow out of Jerusalem, half of them toward the eastern sea and the other half toward the western sea. It will be in summer as well as in winter. Well, that did it for me. I knew, because I've got enough experience walking with God but just being led and guided by his Holy Spirit, I knew God has spoken to me. So as far as I'm concerned now, and because of God's conviction too, not to be a coward about this, it doesn't matter to me what people think. It's better to be a fool, to be thought a fool for believing, than to be truly a fool for doubting the Lord. So all I know is the things that God has brought to pass in my life. People have mocked me initially, but then in the end, I'm the one that's blessed. And so people are not so hasty now to judge me, because it's been proven over and over and over the things that I say do come to pass. So, and that's, not trying to pat myself on the back here. As I say, my credibility is on the line with this one, but, I'm confident in God. My job is just to go one day at a time and know that God will bring all the pieces together in the long run of what he is planning with this ministry, because it's not just about me and my life and, having a roof over my head or this sort of thing. God has a very definite job in mind for this individual servant. And he's called me to be a Jew to the Jew and a Greek to the Greek, and he's in the process of branching this ministry out. And he's had me resort to internet technology because there were no real doors open with the organised churches, but it's just blossoming and flourishing. So all I can do is trust in the Lord and know that he has a good plan for my life, not a plan to do me harm. And ultimately, it's, as I say, it's not about me, but it's the good plan that he has for his people. I know I read a book in August a few years ago by K.P. Yohannan about his Revolution World Missionaries, and I got all revved up again about, I want to be out there doing something for you, God, I want to be in ministry. Because the way that I saw it, I was living in Woodridge in a beautiful townhouse, and I said to God, I felt frustrated. I said to God, you took me out of one cushy environment in the Blue Mountains in New South Wales and brought me to Queensland and put me in another cushy environment. I want to get out there and do something for you. But at that time I sought God. I said to God at that time, do you want me to uproot and move? I'll go anywhere that you say. And God took me to Isaiah chapter 60 in the NASB Bible once again. And he was saying to me, I am going to bring to you the camels. Where I brought you tin, I will bring you bronze. Where I brought you bronze, I will bring you gold. Where I brought you wood, I will bring you iron. In other words, expect more of better. And this has been the whole system that God seems to have worked in my life. He has a different personal plan for each servant. Some people he puts in the dust of India, other people he puts in the heat of the jungle, other people he puts in the outback of Australia, other people he wraps up in cotton wool and refines the silver and gold. And in his wisdom, God has done that latter with me. He took a wretch off the street and has absolutely just pampered me no end, but yet it's for the purpose of frustrating the self-righteous religious systems out there that think that poverty is holiness and this sort of thing. God has his way of doing things, and he will do what he will do. Nobody can dictate to God what he will do. So all I know is that I believe with all my heart that God has spoken this to me regarding that there will be a house in due time availed to me in Brisbane, and I won't have to uproot and leave this cottage here at Toowoomba. I will be operating between east and west, and then who knows, this is no doubt a preparatory step for whatever lies in the future, but God will bring all the pieces together. But ultimately, I would not have thought to ask God for a house in Brisbane because it's just a lot of extra work. I'm already content, got everything I need here in Toowoomba. But God puts desires in our hearts so that our faith can then operate. So all I know is that now it's just my job to believe. It might be weeks, it might be months, it might be years. But all I know is that God will do what he already has planned to do. But I like the prayer in Proverbs 30 verses 8 to 9 where, the prayer says, don't give to me so much that I will forget you, but don't give me so little that I become poor and have to steal and bring shame to your name. And God has done that with me. That was the Lord's Prayer. Jesus said, pray, give us this day our daily bread. Well, I'm a person living by faith. I walked out of my job, a well-paid job in local government in October 2000. And my life has just blossomed and bloomed, and God has left no stone unturned in putting food in my stomach, a roof over my head, clothes on my back. Everything that I have needed, wanted or desired is done far over, exceedingly abundantly, above and beyond what I could have hoped, asked or thought. So I've been faithful to just keep taking one step at a time, and that happens to have landed me here at Toowoomba 6 months ago. And now all I know is that the new horizon that God has put before me for the soon coming future is to be back and forth between Toowoomba and Brisbane. And then in due course, God will also do what the full plan for my life in due course. But I know in Mark chapter 10, Jesus said, to the rich young ruler, sell all and give to the poor. But it didn't stop there. Peter said, well, we gave everything up. And Jesus said, anybody who has given up for me will receive 100-fold more in this life with persecution. So it's not the possessions that are a problem to God. It's our heart. Are we willing to lose everything and be a fool for Christ? And if we are, then he will just open the windows of heaven. So I'm in faith. You can think what you like about the rhema that God has given me, but in time it will be proven. So all I can say is watch and pray. Hope you enjoy issue 34. Thank you.